We're going to be doing something a little bit different on the channel today, and it's something that I've never done before. It's out of my comfort zone a little bit, and it's the fact that we're going to be reading some comments. Some of the comments are going to be positive, a lot of them are going to be negative, but these are some of the comments that stuck out to me specifically, and that's why we're going to be talking about them today. So let's get started. How much were you paid to do this video? Smiley face. This is the crown jewel, guys. We finally got called a shill. I don't think I need to tell you this because it's blatantly fucking obvious, but I don't think someone who is just barely about to reach 7,000 subscribers is going to get paid to make these type of videos that I've made. And regarding Wolverine or Ghost of Yotei, doesn't really matter. I wasn't contacted by Sony, I wasn't contacted by Sucker Punch or Insomniac to defend their games in any sort of way. I just so happen to enjoy the games that come from these studios that I felt like I needed to go ahead and try to prove that these people are spreading lies and misinformation about Wolverine and Ghost of Yotei, and that's what I did. I wasn't paid to do it, I wasn't asked to do it, I simply did it because I wanted to do it. I wasn't paid, and if .5G, I mean, I don't know, maybe I was, and I just don't remember for some reason. Maybe she's right. Anna, maybe you're right, I don't know, I don't remember. But no, I was not paid to make those videos. No, it isn't. Sales are in the toilet already, and the game is terrible. Watch Skillet's review. This video is 3 days old, and it's already aged like warm milk, and Demion was right. So, number one, you're wrong, and Demion is never right about anything that he says. Number two, the sales are not in the toilet. In the first week or so, it sold almost 2 million copies, and analysts, especially in Demion, who mentions, one analyst especially, mentions how the sales for the game are actually doing very well. But also, he mentions Skillet's review for some reason. I've watched a couple of his reviews before in the past. He makes a lot of takes that I agree with. He makes a lot of takes that I don't really agree with. I haven't watched his video on Ghost of Yotei yet. I mean, maybe I'll do it soon after this video is uploaded, but I don't know why he felt the need to mention it. Maybe he says something that he agreed with and that's why he mentioned it. The only thing that I've seen in regarding Skillet's review is Luke Stevens talking about it, and he mentions how he thought that Ghost of Yotei, not Luke Stevens, but Skill Up, he thought that the game wasn't doing anything enough to revolutionize what the first game did, and it wasn't different enough. But then I also remember hearing people mentioning how he thought that Death Stranding 2 was too different from Death Stranding 1. So it kind of leads to the discussion of asking, does he want games to be different when there's a sequel, or does he want them to stay the same? Or maybe it just depends on a case-by-case basis, depending on which game he's talking about. I don't know, like that probably is the case, I'm gonna be fair here, but I just think it's funny that he's mentioning Skill Up, because Skill Up is a significantly better reviewer than any of the anti-woke grifters, because he actually makes, number one, legitimate, fair points, but his points are actually valid, and they focus on stuff that actually matters with the game, such as the story, the characters, the writing, the gameplay, and many, many other things that go about making a game instead of outside world politics that have nothing to do with the game in the first place. Just a really strange comment, one that made me laugh because of the random mention of Skill Up, but moving on. Two things can be true, brother. They are grifting, but don't just sit here and act like gaming and movies forcing their agenda on other people's IPs haven't ruined at all. They are overreacting to it, but it is there. We don't need forced agendas. Anyway, the punctuation and some of the wording is a little confusing, but I think I understand what this person's trying to say. The main thing that I want to get across is the fact that, number one, he doesn't actually list off any games or movies that have actually been forcing agendas. And the only one that I can think of that definitively does it is, what was it, Dragon Age the Veilguard? And the only reason why that was bad was because it was being too preachy about it. It was shoving your face with these, quote unquote agendas and messages that weren't really expressed in the way that they should have been, and were just ham-fisted into your face, like the character Vosh. There's nothing wrong with Vosh being a non-binary character. The problem is that Vosh's character is that they're non-binary. There's nothing else about the character that's interesting. The story with her isn't interesting. The way that they interact with other characters isn't interesting. Vosh as a character overall is just not a good character. Them being non-binary is just something about them that makes them who they are, and that's it. And the fact that their whole subplot with their mother also, and the fact that they're trying to come out that they're non-binary, that's not interesting. That's preachy. That's an example of games forcing agendas in your face. But that's like the only recent example that I can really think of a game doing that. But that isn't even really what the main issue with Dragon Age of Veilguard is. There's a whole bunch of other issues with Veilguard that are actually wrong with the game. And the Act Man has a really good video that discusses that. But a lot of people don't want to watch the Act Man talk about it because apparently he's woke too. So moving on. Yeah, a game starring a literal domestic terrorist is forced hate. And the story sucks, the mechanics suck, it's a shit game and supported by woke domestic terrorists, but enjoy the fantasy land you created in your head, loser. I mean, I don't really know what else to say to that. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about the fact that Erika Ishii made a tweet in regarding the fact that she's calling herself a member of Antifa, which in itself means anti-fascist. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think you would want to be anti-fascist, but it's also the fact that Donald Trump recently said that he wants to consider Antifa to be a terrorist group, and that's really the only reason why they're being called terrorists to begin with. But also the tone of the tweet that they use comes off as a joke, and that's probably most likely what it is. But even then, why does it matter? What does that have to really do with the game to begin with? Like, if you think that the story and the mechanics suck, fine, whatever, that's your opinion. I doubt that you actually played the game, but fair enough. If you feel that's what the game is, then fine. But the fact that you're trying to bring in someone's real world politics into the game defeats the point of what you're trying to say. What does someone being a member of Antifa really have to do with the game's story and the mechanics? It has nothing to do with it. So why are you mentioning it? No one is calling this game woke. I think you might be spending too much time on Twitter. You buy this ghost of a woke DEI, you support a rotten studio who mocks a murder of a great man, removes male protagonists for no reason, and replaces with Antifa male-hating lunatic, all in the name of DEI. You buy this slop, you support this. Enjoy your next black lesbian samurai game, soy boys. I just think it's really funny how this guy tries to say that people aren't calling the game woke, and yet they did. There's number one, there's video documented evidence of content creators saying that they think the game is woke, but then there's also tweets on not only just Twitter, but even in YouTube comments saying as such, especially my own. So very funny. I just thought that was really funny. This crowd has become annoying. I had a mutual friend try and tell me even Japan hates Ghost of Yotei, and when I asked him to prove it by sending me a link or source, he started backpedaling saying, well, it's what I heard, and to think I almost skipped Ghost of Yotei because this anti-woke crowd started getting into my head. I even thought about skipping Outer Worlds 2, another game they're complaining about calling woke a AAA slop. Yeah, I mean, this is just exactly what grifters do. They hear about something, and then they parrot something that's being said, and then as soon as they're asked to provide a link or a source to whatever it is they're saying, they start backpedaling and moving goalposts. It's what they do, right? And it's what a lot of people in the comments of these grifters like Endymion and Smash DT, it's what they do online all the time. You see it all the time on Twitter. They say that the game is woke, they say Japan hates this, that, and the other, and this is immediately disproven by the fact that we have articles that say that the game is doing exceedingly well in Japan, especially in the hometown of Hokkaido where the game takes place. It's selling like hotcakes apparently there. There's an article that says as much. So it's immediately disproven because we have verifiable public articles saying as such. I just thought this was an interesting comment in the fact that this person was told by a mutual friend and their friend couldn't even prove what they were saying was actually true. Trying to punch up, I see. Never works, but hey, you tuck yourself out with that. You'll learn. Maybe. I had 2 comments talking about the fact that I'm a lower subscriber channel and the fact that I'm trying to go after channels that are bigger than mine, which when I made these videos, I didn't even account for that. Like, I literally didn't even think twice about it. I just saw comments being made by these just so happened to be larger creators and was like, damn, I really want to talk about what these people are saying because a lot of the things that they're saying are just factually dishonest and misinterpreted and disingenuous. And so I did. I didn't even think about the fact that Endymion has such a large follower count. I think he has like over 200,000 subscribers, 300,000 subscribers, something like that. I don't even know. Like, that's how much I didn't care about the size of his channel, because that's how much it didn't matter to what was being said in the video, because what he was saying was what was much more important and what needed to be pointed out. And so that's what I was doing in the video. And I don't know why these people need to mention the fact that I'm a smaller channel talking about these guys, because that's not what's important. What isn't important is the size of the channels that are being talked about or who are mentioned. What matters is what these people are saying, and a lot of things they're saying are factually dishonest. This game is garbage. Say what y'all want. Freedom of speech does still exist. I mean, you're right about that, but I mean, fair enough, right? Edward Townsend Jr. I mean, like, he's obviously the harbinger of knowledge at the end of the day. We should all listen to Mr. Townsend Jr. because obviously he knows what makes a good game or not. So yeah, Ghost of Yotze, Wolverine, yeah, these games are garbage. I mean, we should all listen to Mr. Townsend. Obviously he knows what he's talking about. This game just screams modern politics, which is why I'm not buying this game. So why are you talking about it? Not only am I asking why are you talking about it, but number two, have you seen anything from this game? Did you watch any cutscenes? Did you watch someone play the game even a little bit? What about the game screams modern politics? What exactly about the game screams modern politics? Is it the fact that the main character is a woman? I guess. I mean, I can't think of anything else. I actually have played and beaten the game, and I couldn't tell you what he actually means, so I was hoping for evidence of your claims to find none. Well done. Prove their point that it's doing bad. Did you watch the video? Did you actually do your own research? It kind of sounds like you didn't. For those people, only two genders exist. Male and woke. Only two sexualities. Straight and woke. And only two skin colors. White and woke. And honestly, I can't even say anything better than that. That's genuinely what these people look for. But you're also forgetting a couple other things. If there is a woman, is she Gooner material? If she's not Gooner material, then the game is woke. So yeah, that's pretty much the de facto things that these people look for. If there isn't a male character, it has to be a woman, and if the woman is not hot, then the game is woke. I don't make up the rules, that's just how it works. Just admit it, you're a sweet baby grifter and calling the anti-woke grifters too. You cannot be this retarded to not knowing what's going on. So I just remember seeing this comment, and I also saw another comment as well that mentioned Akira Toriyama, and these two comments especially set me off, especially because I've mentioned this before. I feel like I've mentioned this before somewhere, either on Twitter or on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to pretend as if Sweet Baby Inc. isn't devoid of criticism. You can criticize certain employees of SBI because some employees have said some very questionable things that I don't agree with. As one of them being, I believe his name was Chris Kindred, and some of the things that they were saying about Akira Toriyama after he had passed away. And that set me off. I did not like that because Akira Toriyama created one of my favorite pieces of fiction ever, Dragon Ball, and the fact that this person decided to go ahead and take the opportunity to lambast and criticize Akira Toriyama so soon after he had passed away pissed me off and rightfully needed to be criticized. But I'm not going to go ahead and label the entire company as this, woke boogeyman or this terrible company because of something that one employee said or something that a couple of employees have said before in the past. I'm not going to do that because there's so many other people that are working on this game that are only doing so much when they're working on these projects that they're working on that is being misconstrued as being the lead writing role, which is a lot of what these anti-woke grifters are talking about. That's what they think that Sweet Baby Inc. does, that they're lead writers in some way when they're not. They're a consulting company. They're consulting to make sure that characters are not written to be just tokenism. They're not just token characters. They're characters that are written in ways that are natural and authentic and treated with respect, like how you would write a normal white male character, right? That's all they're trying to do. That's all that they're trying to consult with whenever they are a part of the writing process. And even then, whoever is the lead writer for those games can still say, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do something else. And Sweet Baby Inc. has no say in that. They just have to allow that to happen because they don't have as much power as these people say that they do. Hopefully with that, you understand where I come from when it comes with SBI. I'm not a defender. They're worthy of criticism, but I'm not going to pretend like there's some evil woke boogeyman like people are trying to portray them out to be. I can't wait to play a lesbian Antifa terrorist girl boss that would have never existed in that time period. That's not what the game is about. Also, Jin never existed during that time period as well. These games are fiction. No shit, but females weren't samurai. Keep supporting people that hate you. Game is bombing, keep coping. So not only is he wrong about the game bombing, because for one, we don't even know the public sales figure of how many copies were sold for the game, but analysts have actually been doing the work behind the scenes and they're saying that the game is selling pretty well. But also the fact that while he is right that females were never associated with the role of samurai, number one, we're talking about an area in Japan that is lawless. There were no samurai in this area, in this region of Japan, of Eizo. This was a lawless area where no samurai existed, which is why one of the main plot points about the game is the fact that the Matsumae are trying to establish samurai. They're trying to establish law and order in an area that doesn't want it, which is why that there are no female warriors in the game that are ever referred to as samurai. Atsu herself is never referred to as a samurai. She's referred to as a onryo, which is a vengeful spirit. And if you still want to say that there were no female warriors back then either, one Google search shows the Onimusha, which is a term referring to female warriors in pre-modern Japan who were also members of the Bushi class that were trained to use weapons to protect their household, family, and honor in times of war. Many of them fought in battle alongside samurai men, but were never referenced in contemporary Sino-Japanese literature as samurai themselves. So not even in Japanese literature are they referred to as samurai. This also refers to a group of women that have actually fought as warriors alongside samurai men. So it was possible back then and before pre-modern Japan. This was all one Google search. That's all it took. All you needed to do was just do one Google search to see if there were any women at all fighting alongside samurai men, and it shows that it was possible back in the day. So I don't know, just use Google. It's not that hard. Yes, we don't know how the game is going to turn out, and it's probably going to play and sell well. However, after being disappointed by Spider-Man 2, we, the quote-unquote grifters, are using pattern recognition to find out if these Western developers are inserting themselves or their personal politics into the game, because I'm tired of that bullshit and I'm not going to buy a game from people who hate me. What do you even mean? Number one, what do you mean Insomniac hates you? What did they say to you specifically for you to think that they hate you? Like what did they do? Like, how did they hurt you? Who hurt you, dude? Who hurt you? And not only that, but what do you mean pattern recognition? What about the trailer that we had finally gotten from Insomniac's Wolverine showed any sort of pattern recognition that showed that they were trying to insert themselves into the game and their personal politics? Like where did you see it? Like, where did you see any of that? Because I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell you where he saw any of that. It just is entirely irrelevant. He has no basis for anything that he's saying. He's just making things up. He's just making shit up. That's all I've been saying for all these people online, is that they just make shit up and try to spread it as factual information. All right, I think with that last comment, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up because that's about as much as I can stomach. Reading just more of the same things that I've been seeing in these videos by these anti-woke grifters is just exhausting to me, because it's just more of the same slop that's just being said and regurgitated and repeated over and over and over again. And it's always based on misinformation, like lies, and just stuff that is literally just made up. They're just making stuff up, and they're only doing it to piss people off so they can get some sort of engagement. And I think the funniest part about it is that these people that are in my comments trying to do it, they're not gaining anything. They're just spreading a lot of misinformation and hatred, and a lot of the times that I've seen in a lot of comments, especially, just bigotry for women, for people who are minorities. They mentioned Dragon Age the Veilguard, and it's like the things that you're going after these games for are just so pointless. You're criticizing these games for stuff that just doesn't matter and is so entirely pointless. What about it? What about the game did you actually not like in terms of story, gameplay, writing, and characters? Like, that is what is the most important. And then you ask them, and then they just mention so much shit that just doesn't matter. That just doesn't matter. And it's so exhausting. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more, please be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.